The talk over this past weekend and a lot of this week is on Antonio Brown and his crazy shenanigans from the game between the New York Jets and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just jump into the live broadcast for a quick second here.
Antonio Brown, that's Antonio Brown without his uniform, we are told, without his jersey, and running onto the field. I don't know if that could have been a penalty.
All right, Jen Hale, get after that. We got to find out what's going on there.
So apparently he got a little upset on the sideline. The coach, I guess, wanted to put him in the game. He was coming back from an ankle injury, did not have enough of that, did not want to go into the game. Threw his shirt into the crowd, left his jersey behind on the bench. Everyone's kind of in awe of what's going on. At the time, the broadcast had no clue what was going on. It wasn't until after the game and a couple days later that things really started to come out, and the game just kind of continued on, and the Bucs got a sack. It didn't take long for people to start getting to the bottom of what was going on. Apparently, Bruce Arians of Tampa Bay, the head coach, wanted Antonio Brown to go back into the game. He had just been coming off that ankle injury. He maybe didn't want to go back into the game, and they got into a little thing. He said, if you're not going back in, get off the team, blah, blah, blah. Sure enough, that's what came out after. Of course, the internet and all that would jump into conclusions quickly. Antonio Brown, quite honestly, doesn't have the best history when it comes to these kind of situations. If we take a flashback right now, this is what happened when he found out after making a big deal with the Oakland Raiders that he wanted to not play for them anymore and he wanted to be released, and he sent out this big video as well.
Hey, look at Adam Schefter.
The Raiders free!
Bro,
Oh my God! Oh! Oh! Let's go! Let's
oh, fucking nigga.
Oh! The freedom bell ring got me flying like a free! Fly like an eagle! Let's go! Free! Let's go! Oh, I'm free. Oh. Oh. Grandma, they freed me! They freed me, Grandma!
I told you I'm gonna work out.
Ah, God is the greatest.
On top of that, before this Oakland Raiders thing happened, there's an issue with him and Big Ben in Pittsburgh. There was an issue as soon as he got released from Oakland, he went to the Patriots, and there was an issue there. There's sexual harassment issues on top of that. So, guys, it's no surprise that this is what has been going on with Antonio Brown. Everyone jumping to conclusions. But today, he came out with this statement. Bear with me, it's a little bit long, but I'm going to read through it because it's, I think, does quite a bit of justice. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Bucs fans and my teammates. The Bucs helped me return to a productive football after I've had difficulties which could have ended my career. We worked together to resolve those difficulties. I will always appreciate that. Being a part of a Super Bowl champion team and then a contender is a dream come true. Now, that's all fine and dandy. It seems pretty appropriate. I make mistakes. I'm working on myself and I have positive influences around me. But one thing I don't do is shy away from playing hard on the field. No one can accuse me of not giving it every play. Because of my commitment to the game, I relented to pressure directly from my coach to play injured. Despite the pain, I suited up. The staff injected me with what I now know was a powerful and sometimes dangerous painkiller that the NFLPA has warned against using. And I gave it my all for the team. I played until I was clear that I could not use my ankle to safely perform my playing responsibilities. On top of that, the pain was extreme. I took a seat on the sideline and my coach came up to me very upset and shouted, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" I told him it's my ankle. But he knew that. It was well documented and we had discussed it. He then ordered me to get on the field. I said, "Coach, I can't." He didn't call for medical attention. Instead, he shouted at me, "You're done." While he ran his finger across my throat, coach was telling me that if I didn't play hurt, then I was done with the Bucks. I didn't quit. I was cut. I didn't walk away from my brothers. I was thrown out. Being fired on the sideline for having a painful injury was bad enough. Then came their spin. Coach denied on national television that he knew about my ankle. That's 100% inaccurate. Not only did he know I missed several games with the injury, he and I exchanged texts the day before the game where he clearly acknowledged my injury. He obviously knew I was on the injury list, and the GM acknowledged after the game in text messages to my camp that I did tell coach about my ankle pain on Sunday. It goes on to say on a second page here, "I know we're losing to the Jets, and that was frustrating for all of us, but I could not make football plays on that ankle. Yes, I walked off the field, but there's a major difference between launching from this line and taking hits compared to jogging off the field with a rush of emotions going through your mind. I am reflecting on my reaction, but there was a trigger. The trigger was someone telling me that I'm not allowed to feel pain. I acknowledge my past, but my past does not make me a second-class citizen. My past does not forfeit my right to be heard when I'm in pain. First they cut me, now they cage me. Instead of asking how I felt or getting to the bottom of it, the team texted my camp promoting a totally fake narrative that I randomly acted without any explanation. They even told us in writing, don't spin this any other way. I have stress. I have things I need to work on. But the worst part of this whole thing is the Bucks' repeated effort to portray this as a random outburst. They are telling people that first I walked off, then I was cut. No. I was cut first, and then I went home. They threw me out of the like an animal, and I refused to wear their brand on my body, so I took off my jersey. As part of the ongoing cover-up, they are acting like I wasn't cut and now demanding that I see a doctor of their choice to examine my ankle. What they did not know until now is that on Monday morning, I had an urgent MRI of my ankle. It shows broken bone fragments stuck in my ankle, the ligament torn from the bone, and the cartilage lost, which are beyond painful. You can see the bone bulging from the side, but that must and can be repaired. The MRI has been read by 2 top orthopedic surgeons in New York City, including Dr. Martin O'Malley at the Hospital of Special Surgery, not realizing that I had already scheduled a surgery at HSS. The Bucks ordered me under penalty of discipline and with a few hours notice to show up to a more junior doctor at HSS for another opinion. What a joke. They're playing like I wasn't cut, giving me a surprise attack order to show up to another doctor with no reasonable notice and setting the whole thing up as a basis to cut me. Because what they did on Sunday was not legitimate. Sorry, GM. I already received a confirming opinion from a top doc at the hospital you ordered me to go to. I love the Bucks fans. I really do. I love my teammates and everyone who showed me grace and believed in me. I gave the Bucks everything I had on the field. What an organization is doing now needs to be cleaned up. I cannot understand how people publicly claiming to be concerned about my mental health can do these things to me in private. Once my surgery is complete, I'll be back to 100% and looking forward to the next season. Business gonna be boom. So I know that was very long. Maybe you paused it, read it yourself, but maybe you've already read it. But I just want to go out there and say, like, if this story here is true, and honestly, we don't really have reason to believe that it's not at this point. Antonio Brown, he wrote up a well-written statement here explaining every detail. And he even goes on to show that there's some text messages exchanged between him and the coach. You don't really see what happened because they always talk about going into verbal conversation. Let's talk in person. So it's going to be a lot of hearsay what went on there. But at the end of the day, Antonio Brown's reputation got ahead of him in this situation. Everyone's kind of, oh my God, he's lost his mind. But now when we're starting to hear the real story from Antonio Brown's own mouth, and if the MRIs in that turns out to be true, what can we really say? Antonio Brown, to me, seems like he had a right to do what he did. This is opening a big can of worms for the NFL, whether they can cause this kind of thing. I've seen this kind of thing happen in the NHL, and now we kind of already knew that this kind of thing would happen in the NFL. Like, players would be pushed to play injured, they'd be pop pills and that, but now we got the star Antonio Brown really jumping in front of it and really could very well be a trailblazer for some player rights when it comes to injury and playing injured and what doctors they can see. We saw this exact same thing happening in the NHL with Jack Eichel and his neck surgery, resulted in him having to be traded to be able to get the surgery that he wanted. So when it comes to injuries and medical attention and teams, it's a very slippery slope because these teams own you. They own your body essentially, and it's starting to turn into an interesting situation. I'm curious what you guys think about this whole situation now that it's starting to be a little more in the open. Drop a comment below. Let me know. Is Antonio Brown, is his time in the NFL done? At first, I would have agreed that he is done, never playing again. But now, after kind of reading this, and he says he's going to get back to 100% following a surgery to his ankle, I think if this is true, there's going to be a team out there willing to take a flyer on him. Otherwise, someone's going to have to step in and veto him. He's had a lot of chances, but is this really the worst thing that this guy's done and been given chances for worse? I expect to see him back in the NFL. This is going to be a very interesting story as it develops further because this has implications beyond just these guys and this team. It has implications in this entire league and very well could have implications in sports in general. So I've just wanted to make a video on this because I find this story super interesting, especially when it comes to the medical and litigation side that could potentially come out of this. So let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment, smash that like button. We'll see you guys out there for that next video. Peace.